Hey everybody, IcyCat here once again with today's in-depth operator profile. Today we're going to take a look at IQ, the attacker on the GSG-9. Her electronics detection device will help make sure that your team doesn't step on any traps that they didn't see coming, and with her selection of weapons, she's going to get the drop on them first. Let's take a closer look at IQ now. IQ is an attacker and a member of the GSG-9. She has an excellent set of primary weapons to choose from, and that's one of her greater strengths. The first is going to be the AUG A2, a solid all-around assault rifle. Next is the SIG 552 Commando, that's personally my favorite medium range. And then she has the G8A1 light machine gun for heavy stopping power. She only has one handgun, and choice between breaching charges and stun grenades, either are viable. This is the electronic detection device and her specialty. It will help you find any electronic signals that operate on a battery. This is how it was looking in the beta, and this is how it looks now. You can see the depth of the graphics have really been increased, and along with Pulse, she's really gotten a facelift on the effects that this puts out. Playing as IQ, I usually use her SIG 552, but honestly, none of her primary weapons are bad choices. All three are very solid. I do, however, wish she had a secondary choice besides the one pistol. And that's going to be the same problem that all the GSG-9 operators have. They only have one pistol to choose from. It's such a shame. You know, they could have had like a Glock or something in there as another choice for them, and they just don't have it. And that would be my only reconsideration if I could change something on the weapon loadout for all the GSG-9 operators, is to give them a second pistol choice so that it felt like they at least had some options. Her electronics detection here is going to show you that she's picking up signals. When you see them moving around on the floor, that's going to be the camera drones. When you see one moving around at waist height, that's pulse. You can actually counter-detect pulse using the electronics detector. Those devices in the other room were more than likely nitrocells or perhaps gas grenades. It'll also pick up bandits, traps, or other things like that. It's really quite handy, but you have the downside of not being able to distinguish what you're looking at. Everything looks the same. It doesn't have any unique signatures for unique devices. So it's up to you to kind of determine what they are. If you see them fixed in on the floor, you figure it's probably a trap. If you see it moving around, you know it's pulse, or maybe you're seeing one of your own camera drones, depending on the speed it's moving at. So it's kind of up to you to determine what it is that you're seeing. Some people have said that they'd like to see it so that her device can ping the devices so that everybody else on the team can see them as well, kind of like camera spotting works. I think with good communication, though, you can easily get around this and just let your team know, hey, when you go through that wall there's a trap on the floor, there's something down there that you're seeing, be careful. You just got to use communication. This game is meant to be played with a microphone, and if you're playing with people that don't have mics, you're going to have some drawbacks to using IQ. If somebody's using them and they can't say anything, then they probably shouldn't have chosen that operator. You need to relay the info to the team. If you do, she will work well. If you don't, then you're the only person getting that intelligence and you're not helping your team at all. Her biggest strength, though, is going to come from the fact that she's got these three really great primary weapons. You need to be careful, though, because while she has some great weapons and you might be tempted to use her as a strong attacker, she's lightly armored, she has high mobility, she can move around quickly, but she can't take as much damage, so she'll go down kind of fast if you're not careful. So if you're going to run and gun with her, use caution. Her devices work really well, I think, for terrorist hunt as well, being able to spot the C4. You can also use them to spot the bomber when playing terrorist hunt. The bomber will show up, and I've used that to shoot the bomber through walls many times. And it's a very good device for being used in that way. I've used her with both breaching charges and stun grenades. I think both are viable. As long as you have a person or two on your team that can act as the breacher, she's nice to outfit with the stun grenades because she can kind of soften up a room, and then if you have her paired up with, say, the light machine gun, she can go in there and really mop up. And that's a handy tactic to be able to use. Overall, the need for using IQ isn't as high as it could be because most of the traps you don't need IQ to detect. I mean, take for example Kapkan. He's got the bright red laser beam emitter that you can't miss. You've got the giant orange spike sticking out the other side. You don't need IQ to detect his trap. Everything else has bright red blinking lights or makes beeping noises or has blue arcing electricity and sparks. you don't need IQ to see half the traps that are out there. And while she's good for seeing something that's maybe around the corner that you haven't gotten to yet, I'm not saying she's useless, but she would be made more useful if the traps didn't have these giant neon arrows pointing them saying, shoot this thing here, or hear that sound, that's gonna be bad. The point of the traps being hidden is what an operator like IQ is for. And if you make the traps all so obvious, you've taken away some of her effectiveness, for sure. And I would really like to see her be able to have a little bit more power restored to her by making those traps not as obvious as they are. You definitely need some signs and tells to feed to your players that there's a trap that they're going to walk into. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any, but they need to be toned down. By doing so, you'll restore the balance. Right now, traps aren't very effective because you can see them a mile away, and you'll also increase IQ's ability as an operator and her value to the team beyond just being somebody with good weapons. Another useful ability for IQ is that she can detect the bomb position. So if you're playing Bomb Defusal in either Terrorist Hunt or Player versus Player, you've sent out the camera drones and you haven't yet discovered the bomb position, the drone phase is over and now you're running around and you don't know where it is. Look around with her scanner. You can discover the position of the bomb by looking through walls with her scanner, and that'll help your team out. You can even do it when you're on a roof and look down at the floor beneath you, or when you're underneath a floor and then look up at the ceiling, you can detect it. And that's a really handy sub ability for her that a lot of people don't immediately latch onto. IQ is going to combo really well with Thatcher. She can detect the objects and he can take them out. She'll also combo really well with Twitch. She'll be able to tell Twitch where to go to take things out. She can also be useful to pair up with a shield operator. Since Montagne or Blitz are very slow when they move around, they're pretty good sitting ducks for walking into traps, and she can make sure to point them out before they do. As mentioned before, IQ is a counter operator to Pulse in many ways because they can see each other through their devices, and she's the only one that can see him in a reverse wall hack. She's also going to be a counter to pretty much anybody with a trap. So Kapkan, Bandit, anyone with a Nitro Cell, Smoke, all of those devices are going to show up for her, and she'll be able to point them out to the rest of the team or take them out herself before setting them off. So that's been our operator review for IQ. Be sure to check us out the rest of the week for other operators as they come. Please make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest tips, tactics, news, and information for Rainbow Six Siege. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.